Today, let's talk about TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. The company operates the world's most advanced semiconductor foundries. It is basically the OEM for chip designer like AMD's, Qualcomm, Nvidia, and Apple. Today, TSMC has the ability to manufacture the industry's smallest and most powerful efficient chip. But before we get started, hi guys, I'm Stanley here. I'm the co-founder of ValueInvestorAsia.com, an investment portal where we'll give you investment news and also in-depth analysis on listed company every single week. So if you're new to the channel, remember to hit that subscribe button so you'll not miss out on any of our videos. So, as the dominant foundry in the global semicon industry, TSMC really profited from this current market rising appetite for new electronics. Over the past 5 years, its stock price has tripled. And this can be due to the faster internet connection, the expansion of data center, the Internet of Things market booming, and of course, new 5G and AI application getting more advanced. The question now is, can it maintain this momentum over the next 5 years? So let us take a fresh look into its roadmap and some of its near-term challenges. TSMC now has started mass producing the 5nm chips, which contain the smallest microprocessor in the world today. Samsung, its closest competitor, crossed that milestone shortly after, but was still unable to match TSMC chips in terms of density. Generally, a denser chip can pack more resistors into the smaller space, thus making it more efficient. This attracted many of its clients to TSMC compared to Samsung. And the only other company that can match that kind of capability is Intel. However, Intel has been struggling for the past few years to make mass production leap from 10nm to 7nm chip. And looking back at TSMC's historical roadmap over the past 34 years, it is amazing to see how this company is able to reach the heights of the largest in the world. In this industry, it becomes more and more difficult and more expensive to manufacture smaller and denser chip in a large scale. That is why many chip makers really give up chasing after the best technology in the industry. Today, companies like Texas Instruments or Skyworks Solution really just manufacture larger chips for less intensive application. TSMC is really one of the few left that is continuing their capex very aggressively. It plans to start mass producing 3nm chips in 2022 as well. It expects these chips to be way better to the current chip in terms of density, speed, and power efficiency. So almost all the upcoming high-end chips from AMD, Apple, Qualcomm are all going to be manufactured by TSMC. That is why TSMC 3nm node has really been entirely booked till 2024. TSMC is also spending aggressively just to meet demand and maintaining its lead as the dominant chip maker. The company plans to increase its capex from $17.2 billion in 2020 to roughly $30 billion in the next year. It is planning to spend more than $100 billion over the next 3 years. In terms of its R&D, it has already started developing its 2nm chip, and mass production could kick off in 2026. Based on all this information, the ongoing chip shortage and high demand for electronics can really support TSMC's sales growth through to 2024. And given its dominant position, TSMC should remain as the world's top contract manufacturer over the next 5 years as well. But there are some risks we need to be aware of for this company. In terms of competitors, there are two we need to keep an eye on. Samsung has also planned to mass produce 3nm chip in 2022. Market researcher IC Insight also expects Samsung to continue to spend around $28 billion in capex this year. Intel can also become a serious contender with its foundry business expansion, supported by big subsidies in the US and in Europe. The company has also indicated that it is interested in acquiring Global Foundries, one of the top 5 foundries in the world. If that happens, it could significantly help Intel in its expansion plan. Another risk for TSMC is really its location. The company is based in Taiwan and is a flashpoint for both economic and military tension between the US and China. In the past, the US administration has forced TSMC to stop manufacturing chips for Huawei. And now the Biden administration is trying to convince TSMC to manufacturing some of its most advanced chips in the US instead. And the US government is also proposing to subsidize domestic chip makers like Intel to make them more competitive. That support might make it easier for Intel to catch up with TSMC and Samsung in this race. So with all this tension, that could really force Chinese chipmaker to rely more on their local manufacturers such as SMIC. Although today SMIC's technology still lags behind TSMC, that could change over the long term. The Chinese chipmaker can easily poach top TSMC engineer to help advance in their technology. And if the Chinese government really see TSMC as a threat, that cannot be a good news for the company over the long term. But personally, I'm still invested in TSMC as I believe that the strength of TSMC and potential that it has outweighs the risk. However, the risk is still very real for the company. So what do you guys think of TSMC? Share your thoughts with us in the comments down below. Anyway, if you find this video useful, I hope you give us a like and also share it with a friend who might benefit from it as well. Till we meet again, my name is Stanley. Invest safely.